She just picks her car up and brings it into the driveway. And I told her that night, don't worry about it. If you don't feel good, just come on in, I'll take it in later. It happened that she was just feeling really sick and I completely forgot about the car. So next day, we see a ticket on my car. And the whole thing that I'm here for is that I don't understand why the citizens and residents of Green Tree cannot park overnight on the street, because this is done in Pittsburgh everywhere. And if you're worried about other people parking there, you can always provide permits for the residents only. And the least of it, at least, is that you could provide some allowance, like 10 days a year or something, for people to have a courtesy, I guess, and parking situation, that they don't get ticketed and have the record out there for no good reason. It happened that my wife was pregnant, actually, and that's how we found out. So that's what I'm here for, and I think that it's something that we can do better than what it is right now, where we are getting ticketed and warnings and stuff like that. I've been here for 5 years. I used to live in the city of Pittsburgh before. And in the 5 years, I've got only one warning, and this is my first ticket. So I think we should be a little bit more kind to our citizens and residents of this area. And that's pretty much what I want to say. Yeah, thank you. Is there any
I could just say, if you had any, you could always call, there was a number to call, if you had an issue, you had to park overnight, you could call them ahead of time.
I'm aware.
And tell.
Yes, I'm aware of that, but it wasn't a situation that was foreseeable.
I understand.
As I said, I just what I talk about. I hope that you take that into consideration and really look at it seriously, because to be honest with you, that is a reason for me, that I may not even stay in Green Tree if this is the case, because my house, like I said, is one driveway, small driveway, and I don't want to be in a situation that I'm always worried about getting a ticket, and it's just not a good situation. You know.
I'm sorry, I missed your address when you gave your address. What is your address, sir?
Oh, it's 1 Oakville Drive, OAKVILLE Drive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, John Contler, 57 Rhodes Avenue. My family and I have been residents in Green Tree Borough for 46 years. Actually, when we bought the house across the street from Wilson Field, we didn't even know the borough pool existed. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise. And the fact that it's in walking distance is even greater. We have taken advantage of this special amenity for all these years with our children and now with our grandchildren. I appreciate having this in our borough. I would like to give my opinion on the redesign of the pool deck. I see on the agenda, you're gonna have a vote tonight to, on concept, what was it, C12? C12, which I wasn't at the last meeting, but I did stop up here and got a copy of the designs. And I did watch the meeting on YouTube. If I do miss a meeting, I've been watching on YouTube lately, which is really good. I get informed on what's going on. The opinion that I have, though, is that the documents that I saw reflect the concept to be more expensive and with less capacity, both with water and people, and estimated to cost more. That's what I saw. Now, I did have some discussions with Mayor Shank the other day, as a full matter of fact. And he informed me that those are estimates, which I understand. It's gonna change. And if we would go with the concept C1, which is what I'm interested in seeing, that would probably have to spend more money on the pump station that's gonna be built. So it may bring it back up to the cost of the other 4 concepts that were in the documentation. The reason I like concept 1 which would be 2,952 square feet bigger than we currently have, and accommodate 248 more people than we currently have. Well, that's from documents that I read. I can tell you from my observations during the week we just had of 90 degrees weather, our current pool was packed. And we got out of the pool to avoid getting hit with balls being thrown around. Now, that was only part of it. It was so packed, it was hard to even move around of those couple of days. I would like to see council members to think out of the box a little bit about this decision. We have a chance to make something more special and not settle for the same pool we have, which Concept C12 appears to me to be pretty much the same, only a little bit smaller than we currently have. I think Concept C1 would be more advantageous, especially to handle those hot days of summer. The fact that with the pool that we currently have is 61 years old, I think it's time to move into the future and build something that's going to last another 60 years in the borough. So I appreciate your time and your consideration. Thank you.
Excellent. Yes, come on.
Dan Welch, 147 Sheldon Avenue. I got a couple questions. What is the reason for shrinking the pool? Yes, that's my first question. In your concept, you guys have a reason why you want to shrink the pool?
I'll just mention that the water area now is 7,593 square feet,
Correct.
and the proposed is 6,781. So it's less than 1,000 square foot smaller.
Correct.
And that changes the baby load by about 31 people.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an 812-foot difference, but it only gives us, it's the 30, about if you round up 32 people difference. And actually, like when you get into percentage wise, so just to give some background on some of our statistics that might help answer those questions. So the borough didn't begin tracking user data to the pool until 2021. If you remember, 2020 was COVID, right? And then in 2021, we began, you have to have a pass to get into the pool. So the highest entry data for pool visitors since we began tracking, so that's 21, 22, 23, and what we have of this year, was on July 3rd, 2021. And that is 293 people who've been at the pool. That on our highest day of usage for our existing pool, we're only at 53% capacity of our pool. Now, if you apply that for the highest user load on for the new design, it only takes us to 56%. We can, the highest user data for 2023. So if you compare the first year we were collecting that data, and then the last year that we've completed data, is also July 4th, which hopefully the rain will hold out this year and we'll be at the pool on Thursday. My fingers are crossed. Already started to make alternative plans. In 2023, the data was also the highest, was July 4th, and that's 252 people who came to the pool on that day. So counting holidays, which are the highest amount of usage, and it's to note on July 4th that it is free entry to everybody, okay? The average usage for bathers at the pool is 106 bathers per day. That is not at one time either, that's through the entirety of the day. So our pool usage is well within the limits of what the proposed plan is.
My next question. Approving the wider width of the non-lap lane side I'm trying to describe this as best as possible, would make the pool bigger than what we currently have. I don't like that we're losing that amount of square footage. Is there any other concept that we can consider besides that? Or is it strictly the C12?
The C12 is the one that we're voting on tonight, yes.
Another question, the turnaround depth of 4 feet. Is that set in stone or can we raise that to 5 foot or 6 foot? Green Tree swim team, my kids are all on it. 4 feet is really shallow.
So the 4 feet is the US, I always forget the name, I'm gonna screw it up. The USA Swimming, which is what the swim team does follow. That is their, it has to be 4 feet, or at least 4 feet.
Yeah, that's it.
And then we are not a competitive pool. That's not what this pool serves. So we are well within those limits based on the data and the policies. Policies is too strong a word, guidelines. And we also, I can get into this a little bit when I get to the vote. But that then allows us to use that space for multi-purpose. Whereas if, first off, the C12 can't get up to 6 feet, it's not possible by the way that the pool is designed, because of the way that it slopes and all of the engineering that goes into making that pool. At 6 feet, we then cut off anyone who is like 4'6", like they can't use the space. And so that includes, and the committee has heard from a number of adults who were concerned that they wouldn't have a spot in the pool because it was going to be too deep for them. And it, like, children can't use it. It makes it very hard to do any type of swim lessons in that space. So if we're really looking at it from like the greatest amount of people that can use it as possible.
It currently is 5 foot.
It is not.
It is not.
It is currently 5 foot. Yeah, but it doesn't always, like, I remember us discussing that because of the state that it is in and it's constantly leaking, it doesn't actually get to 5 foot.
I think sometimes if you go with a measuring tape and you go from the
Yeah.
bottom to the where the water is considered a 5 foot depth now, but I think
doesn't
several
hold
people
that
said it
water.
doesn't seem that deep. Like the
Yeah.
water doesn't seem-
Okay,
Might just be that we're keeping it.
okay. The design doesn't show lanes being used. Is the rope separating the 2 ends a permanent feature, or is this going to be adapted some way?
So all ropes that are in there would be movable so that we can. So it would be, the ropes the lanes would go up just like they do when we have swim team now. The ropes would be installed and then they can be rearranged every day based on the usage of the pool.
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sir,
Thank you very much.
just one comment, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm against C12, but I'll reserve my comments till we discuss it for basically the same reasons you are.
Okay.
So I will make my comments later. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address now? Okay, thank you all very much. We'll move into some new business. We'll start off with Mr. Trosi, Finance and General Costs.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would move to ratify the actions of the Borough Manager paying the June 2024 invoices from the general fund totaling $86,353.74. Storm sewer fund totaling $200, sanitary sewer fund totaling $789.45. Farmers market fund totaling $759.50. Payroll account fund totaling $256,201.12. Educational service agency fund totaling $4,003.77. And credit card totaling $6,121.59.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President. Couple quick questions here. On page 5. The check register with invoices. There's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Payments made, totaling the $789.45. From the sanitary sewer fund, what is the specific reason for that, for those refunds? Okay, it wasn't for credit meters, because they usually come in as credit meters, correct?
I believe she does.
Okay,
know
I just wanted to see,
that.
I just wanted clarification on that.
Occasionally, it could be adjustments made by the water company that then result in a refund based on sewage.
Bear with me, Mr. President. I
Sure.
apologize.
No problem.
Something big credit. No, I think that was it. I think I answered my own question earlier. Oh, no, sorry. Easy storage.
Like for, file storage.
Oh, that's your file storage. Okay, that's perfect for like something over at the storage facility over there.
Not that.
Over the next. All right, just wanted clarification on that. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes.
Next, I would move that we approve the payment of the July 2024 invoices from the general fund totaling $114,328.75 for the storm sewer fund. I'm sorry, the storm sewer fund totaling $14,407.18. The sanitary sewer fund totaling $29,045.16. And capital projects fund totaling $51,528.59.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion passes.
Next, I would move that we adopt ordinance 1,899, outlining the change of purpose for the 2021 bond proceeds in accordance with the borough manager's correspondence that was dated June 27, 2024.
Second.
You want to explain?
Yeah, can we?
Why don't we let you the,
Sure. So this ordinance serves to publicly declare the intent of council to reallocate bond proceeds that were originally earmarked for the Trumbull Drive Bridge reconstruction. The original proceeds of the bond issue were 7.5 million. 1 million was designated to be used for the renovation of Wilson Pool. And 6.5 million was earmarked for the reconstruction of Trumbull Drive Bridge. Since the time that we did the bond issue, which we closed on in February of 21, the borough has been very fortunate to have that bridge project placed on the Transportation Improvement Program, which will have the end result of the borough receiving approximately $5 million in grant proceeds, which is not a loan, it's free money to the borough. So I believe, and it's my recommendation that council reallocate 4 million of those 6.5 million to be used for the reconstruction of Wilson.
And to be, the tip money, when we say that's grant, that is federal money, correct?
It is primarily federal. There is some state and there's a small local match, but there are funds still remaining to cover what our costs have already been expended, and then any future expenditures that have been outlined as well.
Right, so it's under my understanding, and we've had many conversations and asking this. So
Are we in discussion? Do we have a second? Are we in discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
We're in discussion.
Okay,
And so then it was my understanding that what we have left, because we still might end up having to pay something towards the bridge, right? Like there's, that estimated, okay, just, I wanted to make sure it was clear for everyone.
Yes, yes.
So
are those funds, I have a question, are those funds, is the TIP money, is that guaranteed? Is that guaranteed that we're receiving the 4.5 million from the federal and state grant?
Yes, I have received notification from the state representative that we are on the tip and the federal funding is guaranteed.
That's why.
Did that change? Did that change in November, with the presidential election, or is that's guaranteed 1,000%? We are getting that money.
That is what I've been told, yes.
That was infrastructure money from was when they changed the not blue laws, the federal laws to make infrastructure money available as part of it.
I can't be certain. The TIP program is a very old and long-standing program. And, through my conversations with multiple representatives at PennDOT, as well as our engineer from Gannett Fleming, that's kind of the real benefit of being on the TIP. It's not a grant that you apply for and wait to see if you've been approved. We have already been placed on the TIP. And I did specifically ask that question, is there any reason like we wouldn't get that money? And I was told no.
So we don't, it's not like we have the set, right? We're still waiting on it, or we're still waiting for approval. We're on the list, but we haven't been approved.
It actually doesn't, the way it works is, as the invoices come through, I have to approve them through the state accounting system. I have to go in, I have to approve them. It's the construction management program. And then we pay the invoice and then we immediately get reimbursed for it. Sometimes we get the reimbursement before we, it just depends on how the checks flow, but it immediately comes through. They don't write us a check for $4 million. It's a reimbursement process.
So the tip is like like when you're on the tip, you are approved for this
We're
process.
already approved. Yeah, we were already approved for the project, which was estimated at 6.5. And they're already paying invoices. Like, for instance, you'll see.
But we haven't put this project out to bid yet, so we're just estimating it to be 6.5 million, correct?
Correct.
It could be more.
It could be more, it could be less.
Anybody else?
When are we, Judy, anticipating to put the bridge project up for bid?
I have not been given a date. They're still, completing the engineering. My best guess would be maybe, fall of 25.
But we have a project schedule. And I thought that we know that the project schedule was delayed because we were waiting for, this TIP program. And now that we're on the list and it sounds like we have these guaranteed funds, seems like we should have a better, grasp on the project schedule.
So,
I'm very apprehensive to transfer this money over to the pool without having this bridge project put out to bid.
well, I would suggest that we probably would not have bid results until late 2025 would be my guess, maybe even early 2026. So, I'm not,
These are today's estimates, right? 6.5 million. If it's not going up for another 2 years.
the engineers have not given, the officials at PennDOT any indication that they expect the bridge to be beyond what is, that's all part of the conversations with the engineers, is that they provide the information to the state and then the state, manages the TIP program, of which is federally funded. So, I have not been given any indication, nor has the state, that there's an expectation that this bridge would be more than it was. And, you know, just through conversations, you know, they're committed to this bridge project, so.
But isn't, but
project
those
is-
costs are determined by the contractor, not the state.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understood that question.
No, but you're saying that you've been reassured by the state and by the engineers that the bridge project won't exceed or shouldn't exceed 6.5 million. But isn't the cost of the bridge determined by whomever bids on the bridge? Or,
So the engineers, part of the engineer's role is to estimate costs for this. And the reason why the project is delayed is because it has been approved to be on the TIP and it will receive significant federal funding. There are a lot more steps involved than there would be if we were paying for it through the bond proceeds, tax dollars. There's a lot more hoops to jump through, if you will, in order to satisfy all of the federal requirements, especially since it goes over a railroad.
so in your determination, how would you assess the risk in making this move?
Well, neither the state nor the engineers have not indicated the cost will exceed what it was originally planned to be, and the state has assured me of the funding levels.
And we have that in writing from the
Yes,
state,
yes, I do.
in an email or an official document.
In an email from the state representative, PennDOT representative.
It just seems very, very risky without knowing any of the costs. And we're estimating costs of the bridge, we're estimating the cost of the pool. We're moving this money around without really it just, to me, it seems very risky.
Basically, we're allocating, you know, allocate back, I would assume. It's not like, we're just trying to make sure at least we have an idea of seeing what we have extra to put toward the pool. That's it, we're allocating. We haven't spent anything, we're not spending anything. But you have to, when you have a bond issue, you want to say, what are the proceeds for? That's basically what we're doing.
And realistically, the only thing that we're committing to tonight is to development of the plans. If something would happen, you could always hold those specifications and put the project out to bid at a later time, if you felt that was the case. I just felt that the council is voting on a pool. It's a natural question to say, well, where's the money coming from? So that's
Right,
that's
and I have a major concern now because,
Well, then I guess then the alternate would be to raise funds through another means, which I would assume would be some form of a loan, which,
or we wait until we have a little bit more, security here that we know what the actual costs are.
well, so you know, though, that could take you into 2026 with a full rebuild of maybe 2027.
So be it, in my opinion, so be it, I would rather assume the risk of the pool being shut down for repairs than putting ourselves in a financial situation where we have to raise taxes to pay for a pool or a bridge.
Certainly council's decision.
Okay. Anybody else?
I do have a question. So we're moving $4 million from the bridge to the pool. Is that on top of the $1 million that's already allocated for the pool, making a total of $5 million
Correct.
available for the pool reconstruction?
And the reason why is because the pool is estimated, as you saw, between 3.7 and $4 million. There will also be the need to do some renovations to the bathhouse, which early indications would be in and around $500,000.
Thank you.
Wait, whoa, the bath, $500,000 to the bathhouse?
To renovate the bathhouse. Now, do
Did
you
we
have to do
discuss
that?
that?
You don't. That was.
That has been discussed, but that we are not at the part where we're entertaining anything of that. That's just we can assume that will probably have to happen. But it is not part of anything that we are voting or anything that we have discussed right now.
And if you redid the pool, you could leave the bathhouse as it is, but. it
Well, I
does
thought
have issues.
If we're redoing the pool, doesn't the bathhouse have to be ADA compliant? Is that what the improvements in the bathhouse have to be to make it ADA compliant?
If you renovate the bathhouse, it must be ADA compliant.
But does renovating the pool require us to renovate the
No.
bathhouse?
Not,
Make it
my
ADA
understanding is no, you're not touching an existing facility.
Okay,
So are we doing the bathhouse at the same time as the pool?
We're not at that part of the conversation yet.
we're not even talking.
You know, Dave, that came up in the conversations in 2021 and into 2022. That is something that we could do. And we could not do. The bathhouse still works, the toilets flush, the showers run, so if we don't, if you know, that's too much to accomplish, then we just save it for another day.
It's something that the committee will also
This is
discuss.
separate from this, though. You're not committing to that tonight.
But we don't know for certain if we're required to make the bathhouse. We think if it's not the same structure, that we don't have to make it ADA compliant. But we.
It's my
It needs to
understanding.
be forced.
My understanding is if you're not touching it, you're not renovating it, you're not doing any, you're not changing
Correct.
anything to it, you are not required to. You know, ADA compliance comes into effect when you're changing something, and you're not changing it.
Okay, anybody else?
I'd love to hear from the engineer on that, yeah.
Pardon me? Okay,
I would just love to hear from the engineer on that, because if not, if it's making changes to the complex and not to a structure, because I recall going back 10 years when we started the pool discussion, that if we made changes to the main pool, we'd be required to also make the kiddie pool ADA compliant. And that's a separate structure. Again, it's just another concern I have that I guess I forgot or unaware of.
okay. Anybody else have any?
My only thought was, we're taking 4 million and put it into the pool fund, and the question was, we already have 1 million. So you take the 4 million plus the 1 million is 5 million. And then it was up to 4 million for the pool. And the answer was, but we might need another 500,000 to renovate the bathhouse, but that hasn't been decided yet. So the arithmetic should be, maybe we just need 3.5 million from the transfer, then we'd have a total of 4.5 million, 4 million plus the 500,000 for cost, and leave that 500,000 for a rainy day. So it seems like we're already transferring that 500,000 by the vote of putting 4 million in there. So my thought would be to transfer 3.5 million at this point, and then we'd have 4.5 million for the poll. 4 million, up to 4 million for the poll, plus 500 for the engineer and oversight costs.
Yeah, but Mayor, we're just talking about estimates right now. We don't have.
I realize that. No, I realize that.
I think we're getting kind of off track here. You know, the whole subject of the discussion is reallocating the bond fund. And we're reallocating the bond fund because at this point, we did receive a lot of federal money in the form of a grant that no longer is going to be needed for the bridge. And it seems to make perfect sense to reallocate that money. If we don't use all the money for the pool, we can always reallocate it for something else. Or if we need more money for the bridge and end up with it, then we can reallocate back some of that money. So we're really not spending anything, we're not losing anything. And, you know, the point of the subject is, look, we're very blessed to have gotten this grant. And now we can afford another project that is, near and dear to the hearts of our community.
I don't disagree with you at all, except my abacus math with that. 3.5 million for the reason I explained. That reallocate instead of 4 million. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. We will do a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Tarosi,
Yeah.
Ms. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
No.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes. Go ahead, Emily, you can go now. Hello?
Schwartz is a yes.
Mr. Tintori.
Yes. So the ordinance passes.
Next, I would, move that we pass ordinance number 1900, adopting the personnel manual for the Borough of Green Tree in accordance with the Borough Manager's correspondence dated June 28, 2024.
Second,
For motion and second, any discussion?
My only comment that's, I mean, this would have been an excellent subject to put on a workshop meeting and everybody to discuss. I know that Ms. Dearson and our borough labor attorney approved it, but input from all council members at a workshop session would have been, I think, advisable. Maybe we wouldn't have changed anything, but it would have been maybe there would have been some input from members. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also, which, I believe we received it this morning, is that correct?
Friday.
Friday? So which we would have more time to review
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, like a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Tarosi,
Yeah.
Ms. Barron,
yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
it. I abstain.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Tintori.
Yes.
I believe,
Ordinance.
under the solicitor's guidance, that the new rule is if you abstain, you need to give a reason for your abstention. Is that
I
correct?
abstain, yeah, I abstain because I did not have time to review the handbook.
Thank you.
I'm sure.
Okay, thank you very much. We will move on to planning and zoning, and Ms. Schwartz, are you ready? You gonna take it?
You still want me to do the reading for that?
Emily, would you like Jim to read the motion?
Yeah, I'm in a moving vehicle, so if, Mr. Torres, you would be kind enough to read for that.
Ms. Schwartz, please.
I would move that we adopt resolution number 1348, adopting the comprehensive plan in accordance with the planning commission correspondence dated April 2nd, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion?
You just did a really great job. It's good to have so many volunteers work on it. We thanked them last time, but I wasn't in person for that, so thank you.
Okay, we will, ask for a roll call vote, Kim.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Tarosi,
Yes.
Ms. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Mr. Tintori.
Yes. The motion passes.
I have a comment, if I may, going back to the employee handbook. That was not included in the agenda pack that was sent out Friday. That was sent this morning at 8 a.m.
No, it was included with my email on Friday,
Which email?
my updates that I sent on Friday.
I didn't get it. I got it this morning at 8 a.m.
I don't know why I sent it on Friday.
You're out of town, where are you
There was a-
located?
There was a red line version and a
It
regular.
doesn't matter where I'm located. I get email.
Okay.
Email.
Just asking, trying to help. Okay, we'll move on to the next.
Let's see, I would move that we adopt resolution number 1349, updating the building permit and other related fees as authorized under the codified ordinances of the Borough of Green Tree in accordance with the Borough Manager's correspondence dated June 27, 2024.
Second,
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? Okay, we'll move to a roll call vote, Kim.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Tarosi,
Yes.
Ms. Barron,
yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Hold on just a second. I'm trying to get to that place in the agenda. Yeah.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Mr. Tintori.
Yes. The resolution passes. Thank you very much. We'll move on to public facilities, Ms. Barron.
Yeah, so I move that we approve design concept C12 revised for the reconstruction of Wilson Pool and authorize Aquatic Facility Design Incorporated to begin the development of the specifications in accordance with the design services contract awarded on May 6th, 2024, and the Borough Manager's correspondence dated June 27th, 2024.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I have several comments. The existing pool is about 7,593 square feet of water area. The proposed pool is 6,781 square feet. That's a 10% reduction. The pool is going to be 10% smaller. If you look at the overlay that's given to us by the designer, it even looks like more than a 10% reduction. That one whole area of the pool is going to, the shallow end is going to be deleted, and so it's going to be a lot smaller. In regard to capacity, user loads, those are deceiving. I mean, the current pool is 548, the new one's 516. I would like to see 548 people in that pool. It would be very crowded. Maybe you can, if you don't spread your arms, don't spread your legs, you can get 548 people. I was there twice this last week with a 10-year-old grandson and a 7-year-old granddaughter. We were playing keep away with the ball. I would suppose there were maybe 50 people in the pool when we were playing keep away in the shallow end. And we could not have played keep away if there were any more than 50 people. We had to be very careful with not hardly anybody in the pool to play keep away. So with 548 people, maybe you could splash yourself. So I think that we should not go smaller, 10% smaller. I would guess, I'm just guessing, and this is pure conjecture on my part, if we ask the actual pool users, the people that actually use the pool, the 90% of them would disagree on reducing the size of the pool. In regard to the turnaround, yes, 4 feet is the minimum standard. It's the least common denominator. I don't think C- in grade school, C- in high school is the least common denominator. I don't think we should go with the least common denominator. It was brought up at the June 17th, 2024 meeting. Ms. Schwartz stated that she had spoken with the swim team staff member who was concerned that 4 feet was too shallow for members in the swim team to turn around during their events. Council had a discussion with Mr. Boyer regarding the requirements and whether it would be possible to increase the depth of the lanes to accommodate the swim team's concerns. So that 4 foot has been brought up as a concern from day one. 4 feet potentially being too shallow. Yes, it is one standard, but the standard they refer to, I looked up, it has a note, and it says, note, local, state, and municipal statutes, ordinances, rules, and regulations may have depth limitations in conflict with this section. You can find other standards that are more than 4 feet for lap turns. 4 feet, like I said, the minimum. We're talking about, well, it says 5 feet now. Well, maybe people say, well, maybe we don't have 5 feet. So when we have 4 feet, maybe we're going to have 3 foot 8 inches. So I don't think we should go with the minimum. On relays, sometimes the smaller kids dive on both ends, and on turnarounds, I think that for safety reasons, it should be the 5 feet that we have currently. In regard to amenities, I know we're not voting on amenities tonight, but I want to go on the record, especially if we're going to get a 10% smaller pool. I think we should do without any amenities other than the swimming pool, other than the slide. because amenities cost money, they cost to install, there's estimated repair costs, there's storage costs. They clutter the pole for other activities. They may obstruct lifeguards' fields of vision, and they may present a danger from horseplay. So if we're going to this smaller concept, I would be against any amenities, even though we're not voting on that tonight for the reasons that I stated. So based on less capacity, less water area, I think that, and it's getting hotter. I mean, we can debate what's causing it to get hotter, but in the last several years, it has been hotter. Our schools are increasing, the grade school has an increased attendance, it's my understanding. So the plan for the next 25 years, people might, with more, hopefully children in Green Tree, with hotter temperatures. I mean, it's a fact for the last couple of years. I think that we should at least get a pool as large as we have now. So for all of those reasons, I would be against C12. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments?
Yes, Mr. President, I just need to re-highlight again, that the data showing over the past 3 years is an average of 101 to 106 bathers that pass through that gate daily. Okay, we're a community of 4,800. And those 4,800 are gonna be responsible for the repayment of this bond for a tenth of the community who uses the pool. So we not only have to take in consideration the community members that utilize that pool, but we have to take into consideration the financial impact to the non-users of that pool also, that not only, like I mentioned, are going to be responsible for repaying the bond of this pool, but offset the cost of operating that pool, because that pool operates at a pretty significant deficit every year. Matter of fact, over the past 3 years, it's operated at a $635,000 deficit. So, you know, to rebut what the mayor has said, you know, we have more responsibility to all the members of this community than just those that utilize that facility. So, I, for one, see no problem with the reduction in the size of the pool based on the average user load over the past 3 years, which is the data we have. I do agree with you, we do have to plan for the future, but this community can't grow. There's no more room to build townhomes, to build single-family homes, unless, you know, one of our corporate properties decides to try and rezone and tear down a building to put, you know, single-family homes up. There's just no room for the community to grow much larger than what it is, unfortunately.
My only comment was that design C1 actually was $250,000 to $500,000 less the estimate than the smaller pole. So the estimate to get a bigger pole was $250,000 to $500,000 less than the smaller pole, and that was based on just the transitions. So it's not just size of the pole, the cost, as explained last time, that the other factors are taken into consideration. So I'm not trying to spend more money to build the pole, I'm trying to spend less money to get a larger pole.
Anybody else?
I have a comment about about the user load.
Sure.
And the number of people that walk through the gate there. So those are just data points. I think what's more important consider is the actual utilization of the pool. Most of the people that use that pool use the shallow end, and the deeper end, the diving boards. I think what we're doing by going to a smaller pool is that we're compressing where all of those users are going to be. We could have 200 people, you could have 100 people, but if they're all in the shallow end, we're, you know, most of the patrons of the pool are younger children, younger kids that are using the shallower ends of the pool. Or to compress all of that crowd, all that crowding, all those users into one area. We've heard multiple times both in public meetings and via emails and complaints to the pool from our older patrons, that the cross mingling of the younger users and the older users creates friction, right? With balls being tossed and splashing and the sort. The other thing that I think we need to consider, we have an ADA compliant ramp, which is important, and also a lounge area that I assume is taking up square footage, which is not usable space. So that even further reduces the size of the pool. I think it's, we have a big decision here tonight. Our current pool is 60 years. The decision we're making tonight is hopefully going to last another 60 years. Yeah, and Mr. Romanovich, to your point, while we might not have space for building homes, we do have an older population that continues to get younger. So while we might not go over 4,800, the demographics and the makeup of that 4,800 is going to change. We're going to have a younger community in the future. And I think we really have to think about not how that pool is used today, but how it's going to be used 20, 30, 40 years from now. And by going with a smaller pool, I think, within a couple of years, we'll have buyer's regret. And there's just absolutely no way that I can support moving to a smaller pool. I agree with the mayor that having a larger pool that costs less money is the route to go.
Anybody else?
I would just have some summarizing comments. I discussed a lot of what earlier, so I won't rehash that. But I did want to say that the revised C12 was put forth by our committee as the best option for our community, because the design accommodates the greatest number of residents now and in the future. This decision was not made lightly at all. We arrived here where we are today from the beginnings of this conversation that began before some of us were even elected to serve on this council. Conversations occurred, of course, at the pool with our neighbors, with our friends, of course, all of those things. They also occurred in committees, conversations in the public here through multiple meetings. We examined other pool areas and construction, took feedback from the community member, from our community, our team of experts, and narrowed down many, many different options to the one that was presented today. The design, we do believe, will allow users, both current and future, to have a gathering space for summer activities and a true lasting gift to our community that is a long time in the making. It preserves a great area of grass that is used for many different things. Ball playing, hanging out, talking with friends, having quiet spaces to step away from the crowds. We have our wonderful 4th of July weather, fingers crossed, that has bounce houses, inflatables, food, all different things. So we really were trying to pick the best option that we could to meet all of the varying needs of our community. Not one person in our community needs the same thing as someone else. The foresight of this council and previous council and our borough managers past and present to allocate bonds will ensure that we can pay for the pool without putting a large burden on our residents. And the recommendation today truly comes to accommodate the greatest need for the greatest number of residents for daily pool usage. And just want to close on that.
Thank you very much.
I have a question that, because this did not come up in the previous conversation. The lounge area where we have, let's say, 6 different chairs, left of the slide looking at the drawings, is that included in the overall square footage of the pool?
I would imagine it. I don't know why he would exclude it.
We just have
That's not usable one space.
Right.
The ADA ramp and the stairs, is that also included in the overall square footage of the pool?
My best guess, David, is that all walls, everything inside the walls is part of the square footage.
So the 800 square feet, the proposed footprint of C12 is 800 square feet. Less than our current pool, but if we take into consideration the stairs, the lounge area, and the ADA compliant ramp, it's significantly more than 800 square feet. they were gonna really regret, if we go with this new D12 design, we are gonna absolutely regret having a much smaller space.
Okay,
And you
Dave,
have to think about the practicality of this pool.
I was-
And some of you may have not used the pool in many, many, many years, and haven't put eyes on the pool when it's being used. But you really have to think about how we use the pool. And in the conversations with the experts, we really didn't have a conversation around how is this design going to be used by the patients. And Ms. Barrett, I appreciate, yeah, we need to design a pool that's going to be accommodating to all citizens, all residents of all ages, right? But we haven't thought about like, all right, we have this area of the pool, who's gonna use it, how is it gonna be used? When is it gonna be used? How can we reconfigure by, lane room? That's the other thing, that you have a large space on the outside of the slide that's not gonna be used, it's gonna be roped off. And I think it's a poor design, where we have a lot of unhappy patients with this design. I really think we should step back, hit the pause button, and rethink this design. I really hope that we're able to maybe hit the pause button and rethink this again.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Ron, you wanted to say something? No?
I just wanted to say that, David, I mean, I hear your concerns. However, we realistically have only met 60% of our capacity, and that's only been on days when everyone's invited. I mean, the city of Pittsburgh, and anyone's invited, and it's free. We only have exceeded to 56%. So if we've only ever used 56% of the swimming pool with a population of 4,800, the only way your concerns and the mayor's concerns would take effect 50 years from now is if you foresee Green Tree with a population of 10,000 people 50 years from now, which
Ron,
you can't see that. And also, wait, David, you also mentioned the population may get younger. How does younger translate into more people at the swimming pool? Maybe older translates into more people at the swimming pool because they have more times. And how can we tell 20 years from now, the younger people will take their Oculuses and just go swimming in their living rooms? You know, virtually. So
when's the last time you were at school?
about 4 years ago,
4 years ago?
about 4 years
How
ago, yeah.
many times have you been in the pool? How many times have you been in the pool in the last 10 years?
Maybe 6 or 7.
Okay.
And once a year, we would do, listen, once a year, we would do a dunk tank for a fundraiser. And I've always participated in that. And also, we always participated, we gave out watermelon for about 15 straight years.
Okay, so you don't have an understanding of how that pool is used on a daily basis.
I have swam before though. I am an accomplished swimmer, and I'm a very good water skier, so I mean, I understand swimming in the size of the swimming pool, David.
Okay,
This is getting off track,
Yeah,
Mr.
please.
President, can we please
Yes.
get to the vote?
yeah, I'd like to move on to a vote. We're just stuck here.
And my golf game's pretty good also.
Well, I would like to move to a vote. I would like to have a roll call vote.
Ms. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
I'm gonna vote yes.
Mr. Ray,
No,
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Tarosi.
Yes.
Mr. Tintori.
Yes. So the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Okay, but now, just because we passed that motion doesn't mean we can't try to make tweaks and adjustments. Like
We
maybe
will.
the launch chairs, that area needs to be something different, you know?
Those conversations will begin in our committee, Mr. Panza, and we will bring those recommendations here, and we will continue to have open public meetings where we continue to talk about what things we, if any, we need in the pool. So those conversations will come, and we'll continue to keep everybody posted along the process of this as our committee has every step of the way.
so what did we just vote on
That they're
The
gonna
design.
start designing
See.
the design.
See,
of
yeah.
well,
it. But
revised,
But
revised.
we can change them, so we can
The
revise.
stuff that goes in it, Dave,
They-
Mr., I'm sorry, the stuff that goes in it, like if we're talking about which slide we choose, you know, all of that stuff is not, we did not vote on that tonight.
Basic
Did we
design
vote
of,
on the lounge area?
We voted on the basic design of the pool.
Does that include the lounge area?
No,
It does.
It includes that area. It does not include what we're putting
Putting
in
in
it.
there.
So-
Maybe we might put some water jets in there
Well,
and just
let's,
have a
we-
sitting area.
we can discuss those at future meetings when they come.
Ron, maybe I can dunk you in there, that'd be great.
There you go.
good. All right, we're gonna move on right now. Thank you, everyone.
I would think I could dunk you much quicker than you could dunk me because.
Let's-
I bet I could outdrive you, I bet my handicap's loaded.
Okay.
I have
Let's not be-
Yeah.
we have to get this person aware at this time.
Kids, let's move on. I'd like to move to the mayor's report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I had mayor's office hours on June 22. Not many people were beating down the doors, but I'll continue to have periodic on Saturday mornings, every couple of months, mayor's office hours. It's anyone that wants to bring up things. So I have had a lot of good thoughts and citizens over the years with mayor's office hours. In regard to the Green Tree newsletter, I mean, the summer, that takes a lot of work. It's an excellent newsletter, has a lot of information. I'm all for the newsletters a couple times a year, even though we now have the app, which is also excellent. And we get a lot of notices. The newsletter is, I think people read it, and it provides information to the borough. That app, I think it was brought up by a citizen last time about putting, police concerns. I know that we put at least one, hopefully we continue to do that. So if there's, break-ins in a certain area of Green Tree, that we can put that on the app. So that's a good usage of the app. In regard to our police, we're still down to 7 police officers, and one of them has been off for a couple of weeks. I'd like to congratulate Kevin and Ashley Diamond. They had their first child, a baby girl. So Kevin Diamond, one of our officers, took off a couple of weeks being a newborn father. So in regard to congratulations to Kevin and Ashley. In regard to police candidates, that we have 9 still standing. We had a bunch of applications, and after the physical agility test and after which exam? Yeah, the physical agility test. There was another exam in there, but I'm sorry, I don't have that right now. The written exam took place. That's where I'm getting confused. The written exam took place, but we didn't get the results. So right now we have 9 after the physical agility test. So, and 9 took the written exam, but we don't know how many passed the written exam. So hopefully all 9 passed the written exam. So we're moving on from there. And hopefully we have at least 2 viable candidates from these 9, but we'll have to wait and see. So the process is moving. In regard to the sergeant's position, there's 1 candidate that's passed. So council now needs to schedule a date to interview that 1 position for sergeant. And then if they recommend, if they decide to hire him as a sergeant, it's a current police officer, it would be a promotion. So I would request a council to schedule a date in the very near future for that. In regard to the rain garden, I noticed in the notes that we're under mandates to update our stormwater system, and we have to do certain projects, and the projects are expensive. And one of the projects we had to do was a rain garden, that's over in the municipal park. So I would just request, maybe at the next meeting, maybe just a short memo of, what was done and what was the final cost on that particular project, just so we can keep track of that. That would be good. So, but we are fulfilling our mandates that are imposed upon us. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
We'll move on to our committee reports. And we'll move to finance and general policy, Mr. Teresi.
I have nothing further to report tonight.
Okay, fine.
I have a question for the finance committee. In Ms. Miller's notes, was she talked about administrative staffing. Could you talk about the building code officer, code enforcement officer, public works superintendent idea?
I would see that as a personnel item. I would rather not discuss at a public meeting.
No
We're
problem.
talking about a position, right? We're not talking about a person, we're just talking about creating a position, or is that still?
Undetermined yet. Still waiting to close up the application period for the currently vacant position.
So if that's a staffing issue, why are we talking about it in the finance committee meeting and not in the executive session?
It was just an update. And it would ultimately be discussed in executive session with council.
So that's the decision as to who may go into that role. I'm just trying to understand the strategy. So this is a good strategy. I'm just trying to understand the succession planning strategy. I don't see that as.
We still have the code enforcement division.
So we are currently down the full code enforcement PCO position. And we've talked about maybe some upcoming vacancies that may occur. And the applicant pool is reasonably light for the position I'm currently trying to fill. And there's some thought to how we may want to have some crossover to provide for extra coverage backup when we have future vacancies.
Okay,
No decisions.
so we're gonna talk about this in executive session, not the finance committee?
As soon as the application period closes, which is tomorrow, I'll review all the applicants and see what I have and then decide.
I'm not talking about who's doing the job. I'm talking about the new role that is, we're talking about creating.
That's not decided until I am able to determine whether or not I'm able to fill the vacancy we have now.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. President. Excuse me. At this point in time, Lennon Smith has scaled back our sidewalk improvements based on a very significant reduction of funds received from grant money. That is something that the borough manager and I have been in discussion about, reaching out to state legislators and COGS on trying to garner some more grant money to really get our sidewalks along Green Tree Road up to where they need to be.
And if I may just add that our engineering team is putting together a 5-year plan so that we could present, have the projects lined up and ready to go for future grant application.
So there was a reduction in grant money to support the sidewalks, is that what I heard?
The grant was originally put in for approximately 80% of the $708,000 was the original project. And we should have received the request was for just over $500,000, but we only received $247,000. So we're going to reduce the size of the project in order to accommodate the reduction in, the lower than expected grant.
Right.
Now, is that program different from the program that's supporting the bridge?
Yes. Well, technically yes and technically no. So we received 2 grants for the bridge. One, the funding will come through the TIP program, which is the lion's share of it. But I had also submitted the DCED multimodal grant, which is the same grant program as this sidewalk is for, and received $500,000 through that program. So there is some funding which is already secured and approved. And that's grant funding for DCED multimodal. The sidewalk program is also DCED multimodal. And of the 500, and I believe it was approximately $50,000, we received 287 some change.
Right, yeah, I believe I reported on that back in May. Just for clarification. Moving on down, the mayor asked a question with regards to the rain garden. Final resolution of that is still pending. Holiday Drive Storm Maintenance Project, I believe we voted on that last meeting. That will begin when Colosimo schedule permits. That is the end of my report, Mr. Mayor, or excuse me, Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramonitz. Moving on, planning and zoning, Ms. Schwartz, do you have anything? Oh, you're gonna do it?
Just,
Oh, no.
I'm here.
Yeah, she's.
Just that the vetting committee will be meeting this month. And they are going to start working on their list of projects that they want to focus on, that they are going to be pulling from the most recently approved comprehensive plan. And I look forward to seeing what they come up with on that list. So that's what's going on now, and there'll be more to update next month. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Move on to public facilities and equipment, Ms. Barron.
Yeah, just a couple of updates. The summer reading kickoff party from the library was extremely successful. Thank you so much for those who came, and signed up for summer reading, but also to those, who volunteered their time, everyone from the Civic Club to, library board members, to the Garden Club, and to local businesses who help support that event. The library is also hosting, later this month. I believe the library has 28 programs this month, alone in the month of July. But one of them that I'm very excited about, though I'm not sure I can make it, is they are hosting with our volunteer friends at the Green Tree Historical Society, a Green Tree Trivia Night on Monday, July 28th. A great way for folks who have lived here a long time and a great way for folks who have lived here a short time to test their green tree knowledge. I truly think that Mayor Ed Schenk should go and see if he beats us all, if he can come out as champion. Rook Park is making progress. The installation is taking a little longer than anticipated because an old foundation was discovered when they began that work. We are looking, I believe it's a July 12th opening, but keep an eye out on the website and on the app and our social media for updates, because we will push that out when the park is complete. And then we've discussed at other meetings from points in time, some discussions about Point Park regarding the larger field at Green Tree Park, but there are no updates on that. We have not heard from Point Park at this time. And that's my updates.
Thank you, Ms. Barron.
Sharon,
Yeah.
what night's trivia night?
Monday, July 28th,
No,
29th, sorry,
29th.
29th,
That's-
sorry. My daughter's birthday was the other day and it's the 28th, so I'm getting things confused.
July 29th.
Yeah, July 29th.
Thank you, Ms. Barron. Public safety, Mr. Ray.
No report tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Panda, recreation.
Yeah, let's talk about a subject we never talk about is, the swimming pool on July the 4th.
Oh, I was like, sorry,
Yeah. On July the 4th. As we mentioned, the rec committee puts on their thing every July 4th now, where it is a free admission to everyone. And the Rotary is going to be making lunch. Now, of course, you have to pay for lunch, but there will be lunch provided. So I really would like to see everyone attend the swimming pool between noon and 5. Let's see if we can exceed, what, 256 was the,
293 was the record.
okay.
Yeah, that was in 2021 was 293.
Okay,
Last
so-
year was 252.
So let's see if we can exceed our limit and then make us all look foolish for voting for the smaller swimming pool then. So that is the end of my report.
Thank you very much. As far as the president's report, just a couple of things. That farmer's market, we're gonna keep hammering home. The farmer's market is certainly during Thursday, and I think we're getting closer and closer to corn and all those other good things, so, it keeps evolving, so make sure.
You volunteered to help one night
Yes,
with
I will.
me,
Sometime, yes, give me some dates and we'll do that.
either the 11th, 18th, or 25th.
Okay,
Your choice.
I will, was it 11th, 18th, or 25th?
Yeah,
One of those will work.
okay?
And also, music in the park, the concerts are starting this month, a little bit later, and that'll tie into, a visit to the farmer's market. Other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe Fourth of July. There'll be a lot of fireworks running around. I know the police are always mindful, because people are shooting them off all over the place, so I guess if you hear somebody shooting them off right near neighbors, that it's too loud, give the police a call and they will try to, help out in the situation. That's all I have. Move on to the manager.
I just wanted to, kind of just got it posted, confirmed staffing that the, pool management is pulling together a Christmas in July movie night this Saturday. So I hope everybody will come out and enjoy the movie. So I think it'll be a really nice night. I think the weather's actually supposed to be, I know, the weather's, I think, actually forecasted, if you could believe it, nicer for Saturday than for Thursday, but for Thursday, we're really just gonna try to go through, because I think if anybody heard the forecast this weekend, we would know that it was an epic failure on forecasting. So, a lot got canceled and closed, and we didn't get a whole lot of that. So hopefully they can do a better job this week. So,
Just real quick, on July 29th, I think we have a workshop meeting. Could we interview this? Is it
yeah, I think I
7:30?
was thinking, yeah,
Yeah.
6:30.
Yeah, at 6:30 on July 29th, the workshop meeting, could we? Do the sorry,
Is it the 29th?
It's 29th.
29th?
Wait, why is it, that's trivia night?
Sorry, we missed our night.
There.
first.
We got so much, you can go home after. Stop in
Well,
before.
you're proposing we, interview,
Sergeant that night.
Oh,
It's fine,
sergeant.
it's good.
Wait, how did we get all the way down to the 29th? I'm just like,
It was just picked, it was random.
oh, that's not good.
I think it was picked the week before, council meetings. It's the week before, it's when
I
the
think it's
workshop.
probably vacations or whatnot.
I don't.
Anyway,
Okay.
all right, so
we're gonna
we're
schedule.
on for the 29th, right?
Yes,
So
we'll
let's do the interview with
That
your
night.
sergeant.
Correct. Provided he's. not-
That'll be a council.
It's a workshop.
It's workshop and then.
It's a workshop, and executive session.
I think we can do it at 6:45, in 45 minutes. would be
Yeah.
Sufficient.
Sure.
Okay,
Great.
Another thing, I'll apologize tonight for July 4th. I have a family event in Deep Creek, the night before, over the 4th of July weekend, so I have been at the 4th of July last several, but I will not be there this 4th of July.
oh, it came straight into the pool this year. That's a good.
Last year you were giving out dollar bills to everyone, so
Extra.
give me the money. To his grandchildren.
Thank you.
Well, then at this time, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned, adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Just like that.